Hey, what's going on, guys? Cup of Soup TCG here, back at again with a brand new video. And today for you guys I have my updated Machina deck profile for the August 2020 format. Just a quick update for the deck while I just have a couple things in the works, waiting for a couple more cards for Return of the Duelist. I have an updated Ancient Warriors profile having the works once I get the cards. Same thing goes for a Rika deck profile and a Shadow deck profile. So, but while all that's happening, I figured I'd update my Machina build for you guys. So let's get right into it. So, starting up with the monster lineup, we play 3 Citadel. Once again, the boss monster of the deck. Pretty much, he cannot be normal summoned. He must be special summoned by a card effect. And his quick effect is that we can target a machine monster that we control, destroy that monster, and all monsters your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to it. And if a face-up machine monster we control, except Citadel, is destroyed by battle card effect, while this card is in our grave, we can special summon it. We can only use each effect once per turn. Decent card, acts as a Raigeki on our opponent's turn, which can be really good to stop them from doing any plays. Once they have a bunch of monsters on board, before they make any negates, we can nuke their board, hopefully ending their turn from there. Next, we're playing 3 Metal Cruncher once again. Really good for the True King Calamities play that the deck has. Pretty much when it is normal summoned, so we can normal summon it without tributing. Its attack becomes 1800, and if it is normal special summoned, we can reveal 3 Earth Machines from our deck. Our opponent randomly adds 1, and then we shove the rest back into the deck. So we're mainly using this card to reveal 3 of the next card, which would be 3 Irradiator. What Irradiator does is that we can discard 1 Machina monster to special summon this card from our hand, and then we can target a machine monster, special summon 1 Machina monster with a different name and equal or lower level, and destroy that targeted monster. So good. It's a good way to trigger Citadel. Engrave also it's just a generally good monster all around to so after we set up our grave with like Scrub Recyclers, we can then access our grave with a Radiator to get some plays online. Next, we have a lot of 2-ofs. My reasoning for these 2-ofs, I'll go in depth as they come up. So first we're playing 2 Fortress. Simply, while this card is nice, it doesn't do a lot. It doesn't extend our plays in ways that the other cards do. It doesn't really gain us any advantage. It only summons itself by discarding other machines. So it is nice to set up Irradiators. However, I've just found that it doesn't really do a lot by itself. It can be bricky in multiple copies as well, especially if you don't see other Machina cards. So that's why I feel 2 is fine. Next, we have 2 Gear Frame. The reason why I've chosen to cut down Gear Frame is because Metal Cruncher is honestly just a better version of Gear Frame. It does most of the same stuff, plus we are running a lot of normal summons in this deck. We're running 3 of the Cruncher, 2 of the Gear Frame, which makes it 5, plus the Scrap Engine, plus Process Storage. It's just a lot of normal summons, and I figured this was the best normal summon for me to cut down, while still having it available for me at a somewhat consistent amount. Because the worst thing that you could ever happen is opening too many normal summons and with no way to combo. Next, we're playing 2 Aerator. I used to play this card at 1. I've bumped it back up to 2 simply because I've realized how good that quick effect version of a Radiator is, especially since, if you trigger Citadel while with a Radiator on your turn, you can use Citadel for link plays, and then you can go into Aerator. Plus, it's really good for summoning a Process Storage for your IP plays to get more materials on board for IP for any kind of link shenanigans that you want to do. And with Process Storage, when it's normal special summon, we can target 1 Machina monster in our grave. Special summon in defense can activate effects this turn, and we can target 1 other Machina monster we control and a spell trap your opponent controls, return them to our hand. Just a nice, easy recursion. We're also playing out of Return of the Duelist and I guess Legendary Duelist Season 1, 3 of the Scavenger. Still don't know how I feel about this card. It is an honest hand trap. It's kind of niche in what it does. I feel like my favorite thing about this card, though, is that it can boost the Citadel up to ridiculous amounts, up to 42,000 attack, which, while 3,000 attack, Citadel blowing up itself at 3,000 attack does get over a large amount of monsters. 4,200 gets over almost all of the relevant cards within the meta, which I find, it's a little bit extra, and plus it has a recursion effect that when a Machina monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle while it's in our grave, we can add this card to our hand. We can only use each effect once per turn. So it has a nice recursion. So 2 of is really fine because it doesn't really facilitate any combos. However, it is really nice in combination with Citadel. And lastly, for the Machinas, we're playing 1 Megaform. Once again, this is the Garnet. We're usually grabbing this card off of our redeployment. You can we have other ways to access it as well. I've seen builds where they play all 3 of the level 8s, 3 of all the level 8s with trade-in. You can experiment with that. However, I feel because Megaform is somewhat of a bricky card, especially in multiples, I'm happy with just playing the 1. Next, onto the Supplementary Scrap Engine with being 3 Recyclers and 1 Golem. Once again, this engine is just really good because Scrap plus any form of extender is a Link 4 play or an IP into Unicorn play plus a Citadel. It's just really strong. It helps set up our graveyard for poster storage. It sends Citadel to grave. It does everything that we want it to do. And so there's no reason to not play this engine within the deck. Next, just for hand traps. I'm just personally playing some Ashes. You could play Ogres if you feel that Numeron is something that you're really worried about. Honestly, this is just a free for 3 slots for whatever you want to play within the deck. On to some of the spells. We're playing 3 redeployment. This card's insane. Pitching a card, add 2 Machina monsters with different names from each other from our deck to our hand, or if we pitch a Machina card, we can add 2 Machina cards with different names from our deck to our hand. This is a 1-card VFD. It's simple as that. It's a 1-card, Scrap Recycler, Scrap Wyvern play as well. This card is insane. There's no reason to not run this card at 3. It does so much for the deck, and there's a reason why there are builds that will take a Machina engine and play 3 of this card, because it accesses Scrap Recycler. It does a lot for the deck, and I really enjoy it. And that's all I really have to say about it. Really good card. Next, card that I've considered cutting in the past, 1 Machina Defense Perimeter. It is nice because we do send to the grave quite a bit, and we are popping cards up quite a bit with our Irradiators, with our Citadels, with Air Raiders, and we can target a machine monster and add it to our hand, which is nice recursion. However, the first effect doesn't really come up much. It doesn't help if our imperm, like if our opponent imperms or veilers are on a Radiator. It's only really good for the second effect, so it is an optional spot if you wanted to put something else in place for this card. Next, we're playing triple Call by the Grave. This is once again to just stop any hand traps like your Ashes, your Veilers, your Ogres, because this deck does have a couple choke points with hand traps, so we want to do whatever we can to help minimize the hand traps, stopping our plays. Playing 1 Reborn, just for the recursion. It just, helps with Scrap Recycler plays, whatever else, and it's Reborn. It's a really good card. Play 1 Foolish, acts as like a pseudo Scrap Recycler once again. Sending to the grave is always good for Irradiators, for Citadel, and the like, so there's no reason to not play it. Then triple Imperm, once again it's just a hand trap. You could play Veilers once again. It is along with the Ashes your 6 spots to play whatever text that you feel that you want to play. If you want to play Gems and a Driver, if you want to play 3 Desires, if you want to play Ogres, whatever you want to play, those are options available for you. And then lastly, we're playing one Machina Overdrive simply because I like the idea that we can special summon a Machina monster with a different name from our hand or deck by destroying a Machina we control, and the Avarice effect is really nice as well. On to the extra. Playing a Scrap Wyvern, pretty self-explanatory. For the Scrap Engine, this card is mandatory, so there's nothing much to say about that. Playing a Unicorn, just for generic spell and trap removal. We're playing an IP Masquerena, just to disrupt on our opponent's turn, but because you will find you will have leftover monsters available for you that you can turn into the IP. Playing a Unicorn for aforementioned IP plays, just to disrupt our opponent. And then after that we have a Trispana. I just really like this card. It's so easy to special summon monsters on our opponent's turn on the arrows and just blow them up. That's why we're also playing Zeroboros and Bomber Dragon for the exact same thing. A card I've been considering actually within the main deck is playing Gizmek Orochi to further increase the chances of blowing up, triggering the topologic effects. However, we are playing enough extenders. It does make Scrap Recycler 1-card Wyvern, but it is what it is. Also, don't forget, guys, as of, I believe, Battles of Legend, Armageddon, Topologic Zeroboros now has the OCG effect, where it comes back every standby phase instead of just your standby phase, which is really important and really relevant. Next, we're also playing a couple other really powerful Link 4s. Borosaur Dragon for the OTK, Avram to be a boss monster and another decent IP target, and Abomination to just synergize with the Machina effects. Because whenever we destroy our own card, we can pop a card on the field. So if a card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, except Unchained Abomination, except during the damage step, we can tie a card on the field, destroy it. And when another monster is destroyed by battle, we can tile one card on the field, destroy it. During the end phase, we can tile one card on the field, destroy it. So we're easily, on one turn, we're popping like anywhere between 2 to 3 cards, depending on the circumstance. So really strong. Next, we're playing a small suite of Exceed monsters, because we do have various levels. These are all just cards that will come up in different instances. So first of all, we have Dweller. We are playing the Process Storage and the Gear Frame as our level 4s. It's just nice when we have it, just for some graveyard plays that our opponent might have. We go to Hope Harbinger. We are playing a decent amount of rank 8s. There's no reason to, I feel, not have this card. Negating a spell is just always going to be good. It's negation, stopping a Numero network, for instance. Anything like that, which is always good. We're also playing one Dingirsu. Its protection effect is nice for Bomber Dragon. If we just summon something out on our opponent's turn, Bomber Dragon, we can have Dingirsu to protect that, protecting our board and continuing our plays. Then we have 2 rank 9s for Metal Cruncher. We have VFD primarily, which is the one that we're mainly going to go into, and Phantom Fortress as a secondary option, just because it is a solid card. Banishing cards that our opponent controls, banishing cards out of the hand, banishing from grave, or banishing from the top card of the deck. Probably the last effect, while not as useful, banishing cards is always good. It is like, for example, if you're up against Eldritch, if you banish one of their spell and traps, that's one less resource that you need to deal with. Or just looping a card out of your opponent's hand in a simplified game state is always really strong, and it will always be good. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been my Machina deck profile for the August 2020 format. Please like and subscribe if you have enjoyed this video, and feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.